And good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. It is 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern on your Thursday, January 29th, 2026 from Dr. Don's Weather. And we are going to do a little Weather Talk live for you this evening. We're going to talk about some really cold weather on the way and the potential for maybe a little snow, depending on where you are across Alabama and Georgia. Don't forget to support us every chance you get. There are multiple ways to support Dr. Don's Weather. You can subscribe to us on Facebook. You can also make donations to us on PayPal. We've got Cash App, Venmo. All the links are at the top of this video. And if you own a business who would like to be a partner with us here on Dr. Don's Weather, just send us a message on Messenger, and we can have you started before we do our very next weather forecast. All right, let's get into it. The overwhelming message you need to leave here with tonight is going to be one word: cold, and dangerously so. At times, as we get into your Saturday night, and Sunday across East Alabama, and continuing on into Monday and Tuesday across Northeast Georgia. This is going to be a prolonged, extended period of very cold weather that will be dangerous at times. We throw in a very brisk northwest wind, maybe gusting up to 30, 35 miles per hour at times, and wind chill factors are going to fall below zero. So wind chill factors is where the danger's at, and that's where frostbite becomes an issue. So if you're going to be outdoors, I don't know who would want to do that, but if you're going to be outdoors anytime during this period, make sure that your exposed skin is protected. You do not want to be outside for 3, 4, even up to 5 minutes or so is all it takes to get into trouble with frostbite. So make sure you protect yourself. And then we have that precipitation that will move across the southeastern United States, and we are looking at a decent snow in some locations. More about that in just a few moments. So the extreme cold, we have an advisory out there. We have a cold weather advisory that's issued by the National Weather Service out of Birmingham, and this is basically from midnight Saturday through noon on Sunday. All of central Alabama, dangerously cold, wind chills as low as -3 degrees. So make sure that you're protected. Make sure you have arrangements for your pets, your plants, and your pipes. And check on your neighbors. If you know someone who lives alone, you want to check on them often and make sure that they are okay. You want to make sure that if you know someone who lives and maybe doesn't have adequate heat, you want to check on them often throughout this cold spell and make sure that they are okay. Do be a hero. Check on your neighbor, your friends. Just give them a call. Hey, you doing okay? If you don't get an answer, go check on them through this cold period, because it is going to be nasty. And you can see there, that's the Alabama map showing all of the counties in Alabama with that cold weather advisory. Look up there in northwest Alabama and back into Mississippi, we have an extreme cold advisory. So a very prolonged period here of cold weather. Pipes and bursted pipes are going to be a problem. A lot of people start dripping their water the second you drop below 32 degrees. You don't have to do that. The issue with frozen pipes is the duration of below 32 and wind. Those two factors will increase the odds of having frozen pipes tremendously. And we're going to have both of those over the weekend. We're going to have an extended period well below freezing, and we're going to have wind. So you got to make sure your pipes are protected. And you do that tomorrow. You have all day long to make sure that is taken care of. Now, let's get into some more graphics here about the precipitation that we got coming. My phone has been blowing up today from folks across East Alabama and West Georgia wanting to know if they're going to get snow and how much snow. We're going to get to that here in just a minute. First of all, let me show you the winter storm watch that's in effect now, and this covers a good chunk of Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and then back into Georgia. And all of those counties you see in blue are already under a watch, and the National Weather Service did extend that watch back into Atlanta earlier today, and they're paying very close attention to northwest Georgia and west central Georgia for the potential of issuing a winter weather advisory. And depending on how things evolve tomorrow, though the chances are low, it's not completely out of the question that we could see that winter storm watch extended a little bit further to the west, maybe into West Georgia. And it's not completely out of the question to see a winter weather advisory for East Alabama. And I will explain to you why as we go through these different slides that we're going to look at starting right now. So the next thing I want to look at here, the winter storm watch is in effect from 7 p.m. Friday through 7 a.m. on Sunday. So we talked about this yesterday. So going into this event yesterday, the National Weather Service gave us 3 possible scenarios on how this is going to unfold. And this is a little bit different. This is not your typical snowstorm setup for the southeastern United States. Typically, we have a low in the Gulf of America, and then it starts throwing moisture up off of the Gulf, and then we have cold air come down from the north. We typically start off as rain, then we transition to snow, and it takes a while for the ground to get cold enough to support accumulation, and then you get snow for 4, 5, 6 hours, and then it's cold the rest of the day, overnight, and then the next day it's 72 degrees and sunny. That's the way it normally works in the South. This system is going to be a little bit different. We will have a surface low that's going to pull a cold dome of very cold air down from the north, and that low is going to move on either of 3 tracks, either across eastern sections of Georgia and then across South Carolina, or it will take scenario route number 2, which is across Nashville, maybe across Fort Payne, Chattanooga, and then right across middle Georgia and out to sea somewhere around Tybee Island. Or scenario number 3, which would be across northwest Alabama, right over east central Alabama, and then out to sea somewhere around Jacksonville, Florida. The National Weather Service has already put a big X on scenario number 1. The models are trending further south and further west. We believe that we're going to be looking at a blend of scenario 2 and scenario 3, somewhere in that range, which is why, excuse me, still dealing from the Christmas illness. And so this is why the Weather Service in Atlanta has pushed that winter storm watch into the Atlanta metro area. They've moved it further south and further west. I think by tomorrow morning, we will have a very high confidence on the track of this low. In this particular setup that we're looking at, the exact track, it's always important of the exact track of the low, but in this particular case, it is paramount. I mean, we're talking a shift of 10 miles is going to make a difference of who gets frozen precipitation, and it will be snow this time, and who does not get any snow. So the exact track of the low is going to mean everything as far as snow is concerned. We're going to be way too cold for there to be any ice. So you folks up here in northeast Georgia, take a deep sigh of relief. We're not looking at an ice storm here like we had last weekend. This will be 100% snow. But it's going to be a different kind of snow. Typically in the southeast, our snow is wet. It sticks to everything. You can make snowballs, you can make snowmen, and you can get out there and play in it. That snow is what's called a 10-to-1 ratio, or sometimes it's even lower than that. Sometimes maybe 4-to-1 ratio, meaning that 1 ounce of liquid rain, if it's 10-to-1, would produce 10 inches of snow. In this particular setup that we're going to be dealing with over the weekend, the air is going to be so cold, the snow ratio is going to go up to about 20-to-1, meaning 1 inch of liquid rain would produce 20 inches of snow. So it is going to be a dry powder type snow. If you've ever been snow skiing at Breckenridge, anywhere in Colorado, or if you've ever spent any time in Chicago, Milwaukee, Michigan, even New York, and up through the New England states, that is typically the type of snow they deal with. It's a powder snow. We're not accustomed to that here in the Southeast because typically our infrastructure, the way the storms work in the Southeast, it's a very wet snow. So I'm telling you all that to help you understand. Surface temperatures will be well below freezing when this starts, and I'm speaking to you folks up in northeast Georgia now and up in the Carolinas. Surface temperatures will be well below freezing when the precipitation starts. So every single flake that falls from the sky will accumulate. There will be no melting of the snow for 2 or 3 hours, and then finally we start to see it accumulate on the roadways. It will accumulate beginning immediately. So once the precipitation starts after midnight tomorrow night, I expect our driving roadway conditions to go downhill very quickly. The state routes and the county routes, which will be pre-treated, and they will work those roads may stay in pretty good shape. But the secondary roads, the residential streets that don't get worked, are going to be in trouble, and it's going to happen real fast. So we're advising no travel after midnight tomorrow night through at least Sunday morning, probably going to be through Monday morning. And I'm speaking to the folks in northeast Georgia, and there is a decent chance that we get above 32. It's really going to depend on how much snow accumulation we have as to whether or not we get above 32 degrees on Monday. And even if we do, it's only going to be for an hour or two, and there will be no meaningful melting of anything. Then we refreeze Monday night, and we go into Tuesday. Tuesday, we may have 4 hours above freezing. You get the idea of how this is going to work, and I would expect we still have snow hanging around by Wednesday of next week. So travel issues are going to be a thing, and they could be a prolonged period of time there where we have travel issues across the northeast Georgia mountains. Now, that is where we expect the better snow. We're talking about across the eastern half of Georgia, really all the way down south of Augusta. We could see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of snow. It is conceivable that there could be some areas in there that could see 4, 5, or even 6 inches of snow before all is said and done. As you work your way to the west, back toward metro Atlanta, those numbers will be much lower. Right now, based off of the latest model runs, it looks like maybe an inch in and around Atlanta. And we could see flurries. Here we go, East Alabama and West Georgia. We could see flurries all the way into West Georgia and East Alabama. When you have cold air, as cold as this is going to be, it will wring every last ounce of moisture out of the air. So even if we didn't have a low pressure to deal with here, this cold is going to be so bitter, there's a good chance it would wring out a few snow flurries. So I'm not telling you you're going to have enough to get outside and play in, but A flurry to a dusting across East Alabama, West Georgia, certainly not out of the question. I'll show you why I'm saying that in just a few moments. So we think we're going to be somewhere between the number 2 scenario and the number 3 scenario. Now, let's look at some models here. This first one we're looking at is the GFS. It starts at 12 noon on Friday and ends Sunday at 3 p.m. And you'll see the snow, for the most part, across North Georgia beginning about midnight Friday night through about 6 p.m. on Saturday. And we'll let it loop through, and you can see we've got some pretty good snow up there across northeast Georgia. Gets just over there maybe to the eastern suburbs of Atlanta. But now understand, I know it doesn't show any snow back into East Alabama, but you got to understand that models do not handle very light precipitation well at all. I mean, this model's not going to show you what I think could possibly happen in East Alabama and West Georgia with those flurries. All right, so that is the GFS, and typically the GFS is more on the liberal side of things, and then we compare it to the Euro, which is normally a little bit more conservative. But I got to tell you, in this event, they're almost identical. So let's look at the total snowfall predicted by the GFS. This is the total snowfall amount. And you can see that up here in the Northeast, now understand this is 10 to 1. Models don't look at it at 20 to 1. They look at it 10 to 1. So this particular model is suggesting we could see around 4 inches of snow up here in White County, Georgia, for those of you who follow Dr. Don's weather up in the mountains. Notice those blue streaks down through there. Those are very narrow bands of heavy snow. Some locations, if this is correct, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. This is just one model run. But if this model happened to be correct, parts of eastern White County and western Habersham, even down into Hall County, could be looking at 5, 6, or 7 inches of snow. Now, also look to the west, and you'll see that blue line that I've drawn there, kind of outlining the furthest westward extent of measurable snow. And you'll notice that this particular model does bring measurable snow all the way down into Carroll County and across northern Cleburne County. So it gets south of the I-20 corridor on this particular model run. So that's the point I'm trying to make to East Alabama and West Georgia. You're not looking at a major snow here, but flurries or maybe an occasional snow shower, certainly a possibility, even though the maps are not picking up on that at this moment. Now let's look at the Euro. We'll let the Euro loop through, and I want you to notice the similarity here. The only difference in the Euro and the GFS is the Euro gives us a little more coverage across North Georgia, and it does bring maybe some measurable snow back into extreme northeast Alabama. But this is the same time frame, and you'll see those bands, those blue streaks across East Georgia. So it's almost identical to the GFS, and that brings that confidence level up there pretty high that the models are telling us within reason what's going to happen with this event. All right, so now let's look at the total snow output from the Euro. If you're in East Alabama and West Georgia, the Euro is your friend. Look at this. This brings that measurable snow line even further west into East Alabama and parts of West Georgia. And that has been the trend over the last 24 hours. So we'll wait and see if the next run pushes it even further west. If that happens, then we may see West Georgia go under a winter weather advisory. Wouldn't completely surprise me to see parts of East Alabama go under an advisory as well. But if the Euro is correct, then we've got measurable snow, though it's very, very light amounts, all the way over into Calhoun County, over there at Anniston and Oxford. and then down into Clay and Randolph. Almost all the way to southwest Clay County, and then back across southern Randolph, maybe from about Roanoke north, and certainly up there along the ridge, Potash Ridge, and up there to the northeast, and then maybe a little bit of snow in Heard County. Does bring it down into Coweta and Meriwether County, if this model is correct, and it's suggesting even higher snow totals up here in the northeast Georgia mountains. I'm just giving you the possibilities for the snow lovers. Don't get upset if this doesn't happen. It's not going to make a real big difference on the effects anywhere that receives snow. It doesn't really matter if it's a half inch or 10 inches. The effects are going to be the same because of the cold temperatures that are going to already be in place. Your automobile doesn't care whether it's sitting on a quarter inch of ice or snow in this case. I'm sorry, I used that bad word. Your car doesn't care whether it's sitting on a half inch of snow or 10 inches of snow. It is still going to slip and slide in this particular setup. The main focus here should be the duration of the cold weather and the fact that there could be some travel issues, especially for the first 24 hours of this event. And if this were to be correct, a tenth of an inch of snow could be enough across parts of East Alabama and West Georgia to cause some problems, especially with bridges and overpasses. So I know you're not under any types of watches and warnings, and there is no forecast for meaningful snow across East Alabama and West Georgia. But when you have a weather system this cold in the neighborhood with moisture involved, you got to pay attention to what's going on. And so you folks in East Alabama and West Georgia should do that. Now, if you're up here in northeast Georgia, it's going to happen. Again, we're going to have problems. And I would suggest to those of you, now, we are blessed. We made it through last weekend's ice storm. And as of about 9 o'clock this morning, I think all but 6 customers had power restored. And that's great because the temperatures that are about to hit us, if you didn't have power, you'd be in serious trouble. But the instructions we gave you for last weekend, rinse and repeat. Be prepared to shelter in place for the duration of this weekend. Make sure you have enough medication. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have water. Odds are very high, and this would apply to East Alabama as well. Odds are very high. You may lose your water for a period of time there because, again, pipes freeze when you have long duration periods below 32, and then you throw some wind in there on top of it. And we're going to have that in East Alabama, West Georgia, North Georgia, Atlanta Metro. Everywhere is going to deal with that. So be prepared to lose your water. So make sure you have plenty of water. I don't think this is going to be a major power outage event in the snow area because the snow is not going to stick to trees and power lines very well because it's of its dry nature. And we're going to have gusty winds, 20, 30, maybe 35 miles per hour at times, which should keep most of the snow out of the trees. However, especially in those areas that were hard hit by last weekend's ice storm, we still have a ton of what we call leaners and hangers. These are trees that are not completely on the ground, but they're hanging over roadways. You may have some hanging over your house. And some of the trees are damaged that didn't fall last weekend. So the wind Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into Sunday morning could certainly bring down some trees, and that could cause some scattered power outages. And again, I'm talking about up here in northeast Georgia. It's going to be breezy and windy across East Alabama, too. So, it's conceivable. You could have some scattered power outages down there as well. This is not going to be a fun winter storm. It's going to be brutally cold, and you got to be prepared for it. If you're going to go outside, frostbite is going to be a real thing. Okay, now one other slide I want to show you, and this is from the National Weather Service out of Peachtree City, and this is potential. This is not a forecast. This is potential 3-day total snow accumulations for West Georgia. And you'll notice, I mean, it almost follows the Alabama state line all the way down to about Franklin, then it curves back across Troup County. But this will give you an idea of what is possible. We're talking just barely measurable there in Bowden. Maybe Carrollton gets a little bit more. You get down there around Ephesus and Franklin, just a dusting is basically what this is telling you. Hogansville, LaGrange, it's going to be close for you. Over toward Greenville, Warm Springs. This is way south of a half inch of snow in those areas. And then the further east and north you go, the more snow accumulation you may find. And by the time you get to Atlanta, 1.2 inches will be possible. And we all know, it do not take much for Atlanta to be in bad shape. Atlanta is in bad shape on a beautiful sunny day. We get 1.2 inches of snow in Atlanta. That is not where you want to be on Saturday. So there you go. That's kind of a rundown of what I think is going to happen. I'll recap real quick if you've just joined us. I think this has a potential of being a significant winter storm for those of you watching us up here in the Northeast Georgia mountains. I think that it will be a very, very cold period for all of East Alabama, West Georgia, and Northeast Georgia. I think there is a slight chance that we could have snow flurries or snow showers as far south and west as East Alabama and West Georgia. I don't look for a meaningful accumulation in East Alabama and West Georgia, but it's not going to take much to cause travel issues. It's going to be very windy. Wind chill factors in East Alabama and West Georgia dropping to 3 below at times. Up here in the Northeast Georgia mountains, as low as 15 below at times. And that is very dangerous. If you can travel up here in Northeast Georgia, and that's a big if, on Saturday or Sunday and maybe even Monday, and you have to get out, make sure you got supplies in your automobile. Extra blankets, water, an extra battery for your phone. Make sure you have all that with you before you venture out. Even if you can up here, I don't think you're going to be able to maybe for 48 hours. It may last longer than that. So that's the dealio, folks. I'm going to jump over here in the chat room, and we will see if, I know there's going to be some whatabouts in here. All of East Alabama, West Georgia, no meaningful snow. Could you see a flurry or a brief snow shower? Could you outside chance of seeing the ground white? I mean, I can't tell you no. There's not a zero chance of that, but there's not a good one either. Further north and east you go, the better the chances of snow will be. So let me kind of come over here and take a look at some of these questions or comments. Darren Finch is in here. Good evening. There's Lisa Shellnut. Roanoke in the house. Mickey Norrid. I have gotten some rest, Mickey. I was able to sleep in my own bed the last 2 nights. Went from Saturday morning through Tuesday night, I think. And no, I slept in my own bed Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Other than that, we were at the office the whole time. Some love for the Joneses down there in Oconee County, Georgia. Yeah, that's a good point, Rhonda. Open your cabinet doors, especially where the plumbing is. Like, if you've got cabinet doors that open up and you see the plumbing up under your sink, when you go to bed, open those up and leave that open so that the warmth from the house, if you live in an older home like I do, you open the doors to your cabinets, and that allows that warm air to get in there, keep your water from freezing. Very good advice, Rhonda. Thank you for that. Same with your bathroom. Leave your bathroom door open if you don't have vents in your bathroom. If you live in a situation like me, where you have mini splits, you don't have a mini split in your bathroom, so you got to leave that door open so your bathroom and certain things in the bathroom don't need to get cold anyway. You know what I mean? Hey, Mark Hall, I have been on Fox 5. I've been on 11 Alive. I've been on WSB, all of the local radio stations up here. Atlanta News First. And I'm to the point to where I'm sick of seeing myself, and I'm going to just have to watch Netflix for the next. And I hope I don't show up there. We've been doing daily lives on our social media. It's been crazy. Atlanta really, really gave us good coverage on the ice storm up here. As it turned out, as we were afraid it was going to be, White County turned out to be the epicenter. White, Habersham, and Rabun were the three counties that were hit hardest up here in northeast Georgia, and all of the Atlanta stations covered it very, very well. And we're very appreciative of that. That helped us get the word out to our people, and our people listened. They stayed at home. We didn't have to fight that. I call them looky-loos. We didn't have to fight that. Everybody stayed off the roads. That kept the roads clear for our road department to treat and try to stay ahead of the precipitation. And honestly, we only had a handful of emergency calls during the height of the ice storm. And the roadways were clear. We were able to respond. Some of those locations we had to get on side-by-sides and four-wheelers and to get to the patients, but we didn't have to fight through traffic, and that was a good thing. And we're asking our residents up here and our visitors to do the same this weekend. Just stay off the roads. I don't think this is going to be the blizzard for Roanoke. It's going to feel like it outside, and that wind kicks up. It's going to look like it, but I don't think you're going to have the 1993 18 inches that we saw in Randolph County. That may happen up in South Carolina. I mean, from Greenville back over to the coast, and then up into Charlotte, maybe Asheville. They're going to absolutely get hammered. And there's one of my most awesomest. Is that a word? Awesomest. There's one of my most awesomest communication officers that works for the White County 911 Center. She's actually one of my supervisors and doing a phenomenal job. My entire crew, guys, I can't tell you. Last weekend was trying. It was trying on all of us. All but four of our communication officers literally lived at the 911 Center through the entire storm. We had a bunk trailer that had 10 individual rooms in it. It was heated, and it had a bed in it, and it was very nice. But the beds were about that wide. If you're claustrophobic, it wasn't for you, trust me. And these guys and gals for the White County 911 were, we actually went to 6-hour shifts at one point because I didn't want anybody to have to endure that kind of call volume for 12 hours straight. That's just too much to handle. And my goodness, they all just they did what they're sworn to do. They helped protect the citizens of White County, and you guys will never know how much it's appreciated. And Erica, I wish I could do that. I wish I could just flip a switch and it be 72 degrees and sunny skies outside. We certainly deserve it. Well, thank you, J.C. Hendricks. I appreciate you subscribing to Dr. Don's Weather, and I hope that everybody else will do the same. It's only 99 cents a month. Come on, folks. That's less than 1 cup of this per month, and that helps us. There's a lot of money involved in all the equipment that goes into this, our monthly subscriptions to the weather services, the different model services that we use, the graphics software, internet, all of that stuff is very expensive. So we depend on your support and our partners to keep us streaming here on Dr. Don's Weather, and we appreciate it. And we'd love to see you folks sign up and subscribe to us on Facebook. It is 99 cents a month. Cancel your subscription to winter. I hear you. I mean, if we're not going to get any good fluffy snow to play in, we might as well go back to beautiful sunny weather in 72. At least we can go to the beach. Ackworth is going to be in that area that's still in question, Christopher. Don't let your guard down. You might get a little bit over there. Yeah, ice is a bad word. Bad word. Especially for firefighters who have to work in it. Hello, Woodland, Alabama. 1993 was a once-in-a-lifetime deal. I hope that it doesn't get us again, at least not in the time I got left. That was bad. Hey, Scott Robertson, good to see you in here. Thank you, Sergeant. Well, I guess you're being sarcastic there, JB, because Oconee is in that area where you could get hammered pretty good. Your entire area that you're responsible for. Let me just pour on more good news for Jonathan Jones. For those of you who don't know, Jonathan is the Area 1 Field Coordinator for GEMA. He replaced me when I left the state and came back to White County as a local Deputy EMA Director. So, yes, I taught Jonathan everything he knows, but he is responsible for 24 counties of northeast Georgia. Guess where this storm is going to hit? Guess where the ice storm was? This boy hasn't slept in about a week and a half, and it's probably going to be another week before he gets rest, if I have anything to do with it anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty fond of her too there, John, boy. Big Springs in the house. Hey, Barbie. Hello, Kenneth and Lisa Monroe. There's one of our partners right there, N&W Locks. You guys need anything to do with locks. It's not just unlocking your car. I mean, they can handle your door locks at your house. Anything at all to do with locks. It's N&W Locks. You see their information scrolling there on the screen. Newell, Alabama in the house. Hello, Scarlett. Anniston, Alabama. You're up there on I-20. Most likely, if you see any snow, it'll just be a flurry or a light snow shower from time to time. That's based off the current model run. Things could change. We still have plenty of time. I mean, we're still a little over 24 hours away from the onset of this thing, so it could change. Swag, Alabama in the house. Hey, Bernard. Good evening, Melissa Hughes. Good to see you. Cherokee County, same thing. Anybody in East Alabama or West Georgia, right there along the Alabama-Georgia state line. Right now, the forecast doesn't give you much hope if you're a snow lover. But you're going to be so close to this thing, you need to continue to watch the forecast, and there's a chance you could see a flurry or a snow shower from time to time. I would probably expect, if it's going to happen, I would say probably sunrise Saturday through about noon or early afternoon, Saturday afternoon for East Alabama and West Georgia. Hey, Julie Pike. Yeah, I've been up here in Northeast Georgia now for about 15 years, but I don't do a dedicated Dr. Don's weather for Northeast Georgia. I still pay all of my attention to East Alabama and West Georgia because that's the area that's completely left out by Atlanta and Birmingham television. And I was in broadcast radio down there for 22 years, so I understand the unique situation we have across East Alabama and West Georgia. But after, and look, so when I come back home, I can't even go in Walmart. I get accosted. So just in the last week, that has started happening up here. And it's because of all the coverage Atlanta television gave us this week. Oh, listen, Kim. Yeah, I know it's cold outside. It's cold. It's cold up here outside, but this ain't nothing compared to what's coming. This is short sleeve summertime weather compared to what we're going to endure Saturday night, Sunday night into Monday, and up here in the mountains, even into Tuesday and Wednesday. Foster's Crossroads. Chambers County in the house. Hey, Gina. Yeah, I don't know where Remy's at. That's got me kind of concerned. She's normally in here by now. Somebody run down to Bleecker, see if you can wake her up. All right, folks, we're going to take it to the top of the hour, which is about 3.5 more minutes. And I'll do another Weather Talk Live tomorrow evening. Might have to do it from the office. But one way or another, we'll do another one tomorrow evening with the absolute latest information. And don't forget, I will have the primetime forecast in the morning at 5 a.m. We'll get that out there to you, actually about 4 a.m. Central Time. And we'll have a few more model runs by tomorrow morning, so confidence level, each time we see a model run, if they keep trending in the same direction, then the confidence level goes up and up and up. And so by tomorrow morning, we ought to feel a little bit better about the forecast. It is going to definitely be faucet dripping weather. No question about that. So y'all have a fantastic rest of your Thursday evening. I'll see you back in here early tomorrow morning with your primetime forecast, and then we'll hit you up probably tomorrow evening about 7 p.m. Central with another Weather Talk Live. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget, support us when you can. We greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you back in here tomorrow morning on Dr. Don's Weather.